D, or point number D, being awake is necessary for me not to dream of home. Necessary. Being awake is necessary. Necessary. Sufficient and necessary, two confusing words in case of logical connective. Logical connective. Sufficient means arrow. Sufficient means arrow. Sufficient is the replacement of only if. Implies if then. Sufficient. Only if implies if then. It is necessary in that case. Necessary shows a reverse arrow. Necessary stands for a reverse arrow. Necessary stands for reverse arrow. Means if I do not dream of home, then I am awake. If I am not dreaming of home, if I am not dreaming of home, if I do not dream of home, then I am awake. Then I am awake. Then converse of this statement. Converse of this statement to be our right connective in that case. Here, let me write P, being awake. P, being awake. Being awake. And Q, I do not dream. I do not dream of home. I do not dream of home. Look at this. In case of necessary, it is our reverse arrow. It is reverse arrow. Means Q implies P. Q implies P. In that case, if is Q, then P. Q is sufficient for P. Q is sufficient for P. P is sufficient for P. P is necessary for Q. Q is sufficient for P. Q is sufficient for P. Or P is necessary for Q. P is necessary for Q. Q is sufficient for P in that case. Q is sufficient for P or P is necessary for Q. That's the other way of writing this. Other way of writing this means in case of necessary, we have to write the converse of these two statements. Converse of these two statements means if I do not dream of home, then I am awake. Then I am awake. Means do not dream. Do not dream. This is our Q. Q implies P. Q implies P. Q implies P. In case of necessary, introduce arrow in the reverse direction means we have to write the converse of this statement. This is our if part, that is then part. It is our if part and it is our then part. In case of necessary. In case of necessary, turn the tables, turn the tables, turn the tables. After that, being awake is necessary for me not to dream of home. In case of necessary, it is our reverse arrow. It is our conditional part. It is our then part. If then, reverse the order like converse. Reverse the order like converse. Reverse the order like converse means if I do not dream of home implies that I am awake. If I do not dream of home, then I am awake. That is the way of to handle necessary. Necessary means inverse arrow, reverse arrow, reverse arrow. However, implies only sufficient. They are synonyms for each other. Necessary stands for a reverse direction. A reverse direction means this is our if part, it is our then. It is our conditional part, that's our consequence. That's our premise, that's our conclusion. That's our conclusion. Moving towards next question, we have